Welcome to a lesson on factorization, especially common factor. We need to keep in mind two things. This is core to this topic. We need to look for common number or value, for proper English here, or we can have a common variable. And most cases, or in some instances, you have both, and so you have to look for both of it. Right. So let's try the first one. We look for a common number that can divide into all three values. So obviously here we're going to check here and see 3 is our common number, right? Then we check, do we have a common variable? The highest exponent that is common here is x to the power of 1. And so now let's try to find out what our terms will be inside of the bracket. Right? So that is going to be 3's cancelled, so it's going to be x squared. You see, we divide the term by the common factor. And so let's try the second term. Divided by 3x, the common factor. 6 divided by 3 is 2. And x squared divided by x is going to be x. Let's do the last term. 9x divided by 3x, the common factor. That gives me 3. The x is cancelled out. So now inside of my bracket, I have x squared plus 2x plus 3. And there we go. That's the first one. Done. Remember, we're looking for two things. Common variable and common number. So first the number we're checking out here. 2 can go into both of them. It's the highest common value. And now we're going to look for a common variable with the highest exponent that is common. So that is 2 in this case. Open the bracket. Let's divide our terms by the common factor. Divided by 2x to the power of 2. So 4 divided by 2 is 2. And x to the power of 1. There we go. There's laws of exponents being applied here. So 6x squared divided by the common factor is equal to 3. X squared cancels out. And there we go. There we have our second answer. Let's go to the last one. You're probably looking at this one and think, Mr. Martin, this is not common factor. Let me enlighten you. You see here we have a bracket p plus x. That bracket is common. It is in the first term and in the second term. You see, so now I want to teach you something. When brackets are repeated, we only write them down once. That's a key thing to remember. And the coefficients of the brackets, the number in front, we write in the next bracket. Remember that? Don't forget it. When brackets are repeated, we write it down once. Right, let's see. X plus p in a bracket, x plus p in a bracket, and x plus p. What did I say previously? When brackets are repeated, we only write it down once. So let's write it down once. X plus p. There we go. And the coefficients, the numbers in front, we write in the next bracket. Remember that. It's a key skill. So it's going to be 4t minus 3m plus 3. Right, so remember, factorization by grouping, we have to always look for brackets that are repeated, so we write them down once. Okay, let's try the next one. We want brackets that are the same, so we can write it down once. So here we split the 4 terms into 2. 2 on the left, 2 on the right, and we take out the common factor. The 2 can go into 2p and 2x, so that gives me p plus x. There we go. And then the 2 terms on the right, we look for common factor, this being x, so it's going to be p plus x. And there we go. And so we took out a common factor on the 2 terms on the left and 2 on the right. So now we remember, when brackets are repeated, we write it down once. And the coefficients, the numbers in front of the bracket, we write in the next bracket. And there we go. Done and dusted. For this one, we have brackets, but they are not the same. So we manipulate Sounds like a bad word, but in mathematics we're always manipulating. Right, not people, but numbers. Okay, right, so let's write down 3x. The first bracket we write down the same, we leave it the same. And in the second bracket, we move the numbers around to look like they are in the same order. So it's going to be minus p plus q. Now they have the same variables, but the signs of the variables, or in front of the variables, they are not the same. Right, so let's manipulate. Time to manipulate numbers. Right, so we take out negative sign as a common factor. That gives me plus 2y. So it changes the value in front of the bracket. And then inside of the bracket, it will be p minus q. So the p is positive now, and the q is negative. And now we know the rule. If brackets are repeated, we only write it down once. Okay, let's write it down once. P minus q. And then the coefficients we write in the next bracket. So that's going to give me 3x plus 2y.